Forget New Year, New You. This season is about slowing down, locking the doors, and cozying up at home with the one you really want to do nothing with. Your dog. After the holiday chaos, those quiet nights with a blanket, a podcast, and your pup feel like the reset you actually need. Ollie helps make those moments easier with fresh protein-packed meals made from real human-grade ingredients, so your dog can enjoy some quality comfort food too. Choose from 5 recipes and get a personalized plan for your dog's needs. Meals arrive perfectly proportioned with a scoop and storage container, so serving is fast and mess-free. And with Ollie's in-app on-demand health screenings, supporting your dog is easy, ensuring more cuddles for many years to come. Visit ollie.com/truecrime and use code TRUECRIME for 60% off your first box.
It was the last call of the night on June 20th, 2012. When 25-year-old Ashley Biggs left the Domino's Pizza in Greene, Ohio. She left just like she did for every delivery, and this one was right down the street, to a business address on Turkeyfoot Lake Road. When 20 minutes passed, her manager, Matt Travis, started worrying. He called her cell phone. No answer. So he called the Summit County Sheriff's Office. It didn't take them long to discover that Ashley made it to the delivery site, but it was a deserted location. And the pizza delivery was just a trick to get her there alone.
June 21st of 2012. Do you remember that day?
Vaguely.
Okay. And you know the significance of that day, though, right?
Right.
And what happened that day that was out of the ordinary?
I let the dog out the back sliding door, and I noticed that there was like a red light flashing, kind of.
Patricia Ware is an Ohio resident who remembered seeing something unusual on her property during the early morning hours of June 21st. At first, she didn't know what it was.
Why was that significant to you? Why did that stand out in your mind?
Because the field is planted and there's access to that would be hard.
All right. So in your mind, did that seem like some object that shouldn't be there?
It seemed odd.
Okay. So as a result of that, what did you do?
Actually, I waited for my husband to get up. I talked to him. He said, oh, it's probably somebody cutting wood or hunting or whatever. I went about my day, did my chores, came back, noticed that it was still there, said something again. And it wasn't till later, till I called the sheriff's office and realized that there's nobody moving around back there. There's no sound coming from back there. It shouldn't be there.
All right. So if it was somebody that was working, cutting wood, you would have expected that to move or be different at some point.
Or hear some sound, yeah.
Okay. And it didn't, it never did?
No.
It was an abandoned car.
Did you ever go out to that car?
No.
So you said you later in the day, and if you know, do you recall about what time?
I honestly don't remember.
Can you describe, if you recall, the weather that day?
It was sunny and warm.
On this sunny, warm day, police in Summit County would make a grim discovery, not long after Patricia Ware made that phone call. They would find Ashley's abandoned car in a cornfield. In the trunk was her body. Today's case isn't your typical murder case. A suspect was arrested and pleaded guilty to the murder of Ashley Biggs. But investigators say the killer didn't act alone. They needed help. They say this case paints a picture of what happens when accomplices decide that not everyone is paying the price for a crime they committed together. But the defense will say the killer had an axe to grind, a score to settle, and that they would do anything to bring someone else down with them. This is Jillian, and in partnership with Law and Crime, you are listening to Court Junkie, episode 147. Deputy Steve Browning approached the abandoned car and made the gruesome discovery. Ashley, a mom and Army veteran, was dead inside.
Began to approach the car from the front. As I got closer, the driver's side window was down. Looking through the window between the front and back seat, I could see what appeared to be skin between those two seats. I then reapproached, coming up from the side of the window, the passenger side, rear window. Upon looking in, I observed an individual in there.
Can you describe for the jury what you saw?
The individual's face was very dark purple. I can still picture that. There were taser wires coming off of the individual. She had on a Domino's shirt, tan shorts, a leather belt, white tennis shoes. There were zip ties around her hands or wrists and what appeared to be zip tie around her neck. There was also blood around her on the, I want to say on the floor, but I don't remember exactly where the blood was. And then at that point, I contacted my captain to make him aware of what I had found.
The day Ashley's body was found by authorities, her ex-boyfriend, Chad Cobb, was arrested. Chad was found hiding in a wooded area behind his grandmother's house. He was not only her ex-boyfriend, but the father of her child. Police were told about their bitter custody battle over their then 7-year-old daughter, GC.
This case has its genesis, its origin in a custody battle. Back in about the late 2000s, we have Chad Cobb. He's in a relationship with Ashley Biggs.
Defense attorney Carrie O'Brien describes their daughter, GC.
2012 is about 7 years old. She is now 15 years old, and you will hear from her in the next day or two. She is, as I understand it, the only product of that union. After a point in time, Ashley Biggs leaves that family unit.
There are a lot of family members involved in this case, so at trial, the state took their time in explaining everyone involved. The custody battle between Ashley and her ex-boyfriend Chad is at the center of the story. When Ashley split with Chad, she started dating someone else. Chad, meanwhile, married a woman named Erica Lyon, who is now Erica Stefanko, the woman seated at the defense table. The state doesn't need to prove who killed Ashley Biggs. They already know that. Chad pleaded guilty to a litany of charges, including aggravated murder, aggravated robbery, kidnapping, tampering with evidence, abuse of a corpse, possession of criminal tools, and domestic violence. He was facing the death penalty until his guilty plea changed that. He was now sentenced to life in prison. But according to him, he didn't act alone that night. He says his now ex-wife, Erica, placed the call that led Ashley into the trap. As with any case, the prosecutors have the burden of proof. They must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Erica Stefanko played a key role in the murder of Ashley Biggs. This is perhaps an easier hurdle when you have forensic evidence. But in this case, it's the word of a convicted murderer and a handful of others pointing the finger at Erica, who they say lured Ashley to her death.
Gentlemen of the jury, we are here today to hold this defendant, Erica Stefanko, accountable for what she did on June 20th to June 21st, 2012. We are here to hold her responsible for the actions she chose to take that day. Now, in the words of Shakespeare, a rose by any other name would smell as sweet. And what that means is whether you hold Erica Stefanko accountable as the principal actor or as an accomplice, all roads lead to the same place. Once you see the evidence and the testimony, all roads lead to Erica Stefanko being found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt of aggravated murder, kidnapping, and aggravated robbery.
Prosecutor Felicia Easter set up the argument that Chad hadn't acted alone. She said the call placing the pizza order was from a woman's voice. She told the jury that the state will convince them of Erica's direct involvement and that in the eyes of the law, Erica is just as guilty as Chad. By the time police arrested Erica on November 12, 2019, 7.5 years after Ashley's body had been found, the dust had settled on the initial case. Authorities say new information came to light that led them to believe Erica was involved in luring Ashley to that abandoned lot. Erica and Chad had divorced after he was arrested. She then went on to marry his friend and former boss, Christopher Mike Stefanko. The defense put on their case towards the end of the trial, and Mike was the only witness called. He said the two are still happily married. According to Mike, Chad called him on June 21st and essentially confessed, saying, "I fucked up." He then asked Mike to bring him clothes. He said nothing about Erica having been involved. He was asked what he knew about the relationship between Chad, his friend and new wife's ex-husband, and Ashley.
Did he ever threaten Ashley?
So you're asking me if he directly threatened her? Not that I know to her person, but definitely in conversation.
All right. And what did he say about that threat?
He needed her gone.
What else was he going to do to her?
He made a comment that when it was all said and done, that he wanted to keep her skull as a trophy.
Did he say that more than once?
I believe he said it on at least 2 separate occasions.
Did he say this in your presence?
Yes, he did.
With the defense trying to prove that Chad committed the murder entirely on his own, the state tried to bring the character of the defense's only witness into question.
You grew up with Chad, correct? I think you said you were 4, he was 6?
Yes.
Okay. Middle school, elementary school together?
Yes.
And you just stated you went to separate high schools, correct?
He went to a vocational school.
Okay. And he gave you employment. At one point, he was your primary employer. Isn't that correct?
Yes, I left other employment to come on full time with him. That is correct.
Okay. And he also gave you keys to his house.
Yes.
And you would have to agree that there's an element of trust. You just don't give anyone keys to your house. Is that a fair statement?
Yes.
And the last question was, you thank him or repay him by having an affair with his wife when he gets arrested.
You're asking if I started seeing Erica after he was arrested? Yes, I did.
The prosecutor questioned why Mike hadn't come forward earlier, why he waited until Erica's trial to say anything.
Mr. Stefanko, on direct examination, you were asked about the calls that you received from Chad Cobb on the night, actually would have been the morning of June 21st, 2012, correct?
Yes.
And you stated that Chad told you, "I fucked up," and he asked you to collect his belongings and bring it to him, correct?
Yes.
Now, today, as you sit here in the trial for Erica Stefanko, that would appear to be damning statements towards Chad Cobb, as if he did this by himself. And you were also asked that he was only to bring his clothing, correct?
Correct.
Now, that conversation, again, like I said, would have taken place June, the early mornings of the 21st, 2012, correct?
Yes.
Erica Stefanko has been sitting in jail for this case.
I am well aware of that.
Any time after June, did you call Detective Hitchings and tell him this information?
No.
Since Erica Stefanko got arrested at any time, did you call Detective Hitchings and tell him this information?
No.
You thought it was good now at her trial while you have a vested interest to say it, but at no time since she's been sitting in jail, you didn't think to call Detective Hitchings and tell him this great information that may help your wife sitting here at trial.
If I had been asked at any point before these last few weeks, I would have no problem divulging that information.
Do you think that information is good for Erica Stefanko?
I think that information is the truth, ma'am.
Okay. And you didn't want to come forward and say, Chad said he did this, used it in the singular, not they or he. You kept that to yourself.
Until I was asked about it, ma'am.
Later that morning on June 21st, Ashley's body was found. And not soon after that, Chad was arrested, found hiding in the woods by police. 5 years then passed before Chad sent a letter to Detective Mike Hitchings, alleging that his ex-wife Erica was involved too.
Went to see Chad in prison.
Okay, why did you go to see Chad in prison?
Attempt to see if he would want to cooperate and tell us who the other party was that was involved in making the phone call.
When lead detective Mike Hitchings got Chad's letter, he thought Chad may have motivation to lie, so he needed corroborating evidence. Enter Cindy Cobb, Chad's mom and Erica's former mother-in-law. Cindy was a witness in this case. She described her relationship with Erica as average, and she recalled conversations she said she had with Erica that centered around a plot to murder Ashley.
I think you said Chad was arrested on the 21st of June. Do you know when he ultimately was pled guilty and was sentenced?
I believe in February 2012, February or March.
Of 12 or 13?
13. I think it'd be 13.
Okay. During the pendency of his case, did you still have communications with Erica?
Yes.
And did those communications involve discussions regarding what happened the night that Ashley died?
Occasionally.
All right. And what types of things was she telling you about that?
They were all together, and that she had placed the call to arrange for the pizza and the meeting place.
For the pizza and?
The meeting place.
The meeting place. When you heard that, what was your reaction?
Floored.
If anyone in the jury box was keeping score, so far the score was 2-1. Chad had confessed to murder, but said he didn't do it alone, and his mother agreed. But authorities couldn't build a case without more evidence. According to Detective Mike Hitchings, there was no DNA evidence that linked Erica to the crime. But they did have a secret recording between Cindy and Erica.
You told me face to face that you made the phone call and you set the meeting up. I mean, that's what you told me. And there's no lie in that. Like I said, Chad said this is what we're going to do, and this is your part of it, and I carried out my part, and I did exactly what he told me to do. And it wasn't because he was forcing me to do it, or like he had a gun to my head. It was because he said, this is your part, and this is what you're going to do. Which is how it always was when we did something we were supposed to do. And I did everything he told me to do, and I fucking gave it up.
So to recap what you just heard, Erica said in the recorded call that Chad told her what to do, and she carried out her part. She said he didn't force her, but he said, this is your part. This is what you're going to do. And she did what he told her to do. Cindy had planned on recording Erica the day she invited her over. She told the defense attorneys that Erica had requested a meeting to discuss things. This meeting took place about a year after Chad was sentenced to life without parole. Erica went to the refurbished barn on her ex-mother-in-law's property, where Cindy offered her a beer. Both women drank and had a conversation, while the tape recorder secretly rolled. The meeting between the two former family members lasted about 3 hours. The defense pressed Cindy on the fact that their client was offered alcohol and then secretly taped. They asked her if she knew that Erica was a heavy drinker after Chad's arrest. She responded by saying, "I know she drank."
And all this while, you haven't told Erica that she's being taped, correct?
Correct.
All the while, this thing is going on. True?
The recorder, yes.
And this recorder, you then put away for about, I think the time frame is about 4 years.
Correct.
From 2014 to 2018.
Rough, yes.
All right. And you don't break up this conversation, do you, after 3 hours? You keep it going, don't you?
Correct.
You want to hear more and more about what Erica has to say, a person who's known to drink heavily and has had at least one drink in her.
We had a meeting and I left it on.
Cindy didn't immediately turn the tape over to the police. Erica's attorneys saw this as suspicious. If she thought this was urgent enough to record, why didn't she turn it over to the police as soon as possible? Cindy never answered this question. When asked about the tape that Cindy handed over, Detective Hitchings agreed that most people would want to help out their kid who was sitting behind bars.
You interviewed Cindy Cobb, correct?
Yes.
All right. And this is where you get this tape, true?
Yes, she did give us the tape.
Right. And you learned that she'd been sitting on this tape or keeping in her possession for 4 years?
I learned that after listening to the tape, and it had the date on it that it was recorded.
Would you agree with me that Cindy Cobb has definitely got a vested interest in getting her son out of prison?
Well, most parents would want to try.
Well, I'm referring to Cindy Cobb.
I never really asked her the question. She wants to get her kid out, but I don't know.
Chad testified against Erica as a witness for the state as well. He wasn't given anything in exchange for doing so. He was already serving a life sentence and was given no leniency. For the majority of his testimony, Chad sat at a table wearing a mask, his hands folded in front of him.
Did there come a time during that time frame where your wife, Erica, filed for divorce?
That's not accurate.
What's inaccurate about it?
I believe that I signed the divorce papers in 2013, if I remember right. There was something that she mailed me about the divorce or dissolution. Because I couldn't do our marriage anymore, so I remember she typed it up and I signed it, and I believe I mailed it back. I think I mailed a copy home as well. But I believe it was 2013-ish.
Very good. You weren't real happy about the divorce, were you?
I don't think any man would be happy about a divorce.
Sometime after the divorce was final, did you learn that Erica married your good friend Christopher Michael Stefanko?
I don't remember when they got married, so I can't say if it was after the divorce or before. I don't recall.
Chad was also asked about his relationship with Ashley.
About what date or year do you go to court and you lose custody or possession of GC?
That would have been, if we're referring to the same time, 2011.
That would have been around October 5th?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And the court took custody away from you and gave it to Ashley?
Yes, sir.
That set off a multitude of court hearings?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did there come a point in time in around, let's say, May of 2012, did you have anything to do with putting a tracking device on Ashley's car?
No, sir.
Would you know if anybody that you are close to bought a tracking device for that car?
No, sir.
Do you have a domestic violence conviction where Ashley is the victim?
Yes, sir.
Chad testified that Erica not only made that phone call, but he said she drove him around that night, waited in the car as he dumped Ashley's body, and helped him try to clean up the evidence. As I stated earlier in the episode, GC is Chad and Ashley's daughter. Her name is protected in this trial because she's a minor. GC became the unwilling center of the case the minute the call was made to that Domino's Pizza in Greene, Ohio. You'll see why in a second. GC currently lives with her grandmother, Cindy, Chad's mom. She was 7 years old at the time of her mother's murder and her father's arrest. She is now 15 years old, and she testified at this trial, the cameras aimed below her face in an effort to protect her identity. On direct examination, she shared her positive memories of her father, Chad.
You said that you have memories of your father living there with him and memories of living there with your mother. Tell us, in regards to your father, did you have positive memories or negative memories or both?
Always positive.
Okay. So if GC wanted something, who did you go to?
My father.
All right. And why was that?
Because he was my favorite.
Okay. As far as Erica went, now, how did you refer to her? Did you refer to her as Erica or Mom or what? If you remember.
Mom.
The prosecutor asked GC questions about what living with Erica, her former stepmom, was like.
What are your memories as far as Erica? Good, bad, or neither?
I had both.
Both. So tell me about that. Why was it both?
Some good memories. I remember going to a dance where we had like the matching dress, and I remember having good times, but then I also remember having bad ones.
And the bad ones, do you know how frequently or often they were?
I don't remember how often, but I just remember them happening.
All right. And what types of things are we talking about that you're remembering?
She was mentally abusive and physically.
And how was she mentally abusive?
She would tell me that if I told my dad what she was doing to me, then she would do worse. And I kind of figure that's mentally.
And you said physically. So what was the physical type of abuse?
I remember she would hold me on the ground and she would hit me. And then she also, before, made me eat dog feces.
So let's talk about that. Do you know why she made you eat dog feces?
Because she was jealous of my relationship with my father.
With who?
With my father.
GC painted a picture of a cruel, jealous stepmother during her direct testimony. She said Erica abused her, even forcing her to eat dog feces. Keep in mind, GC was 7 at the time of her mother's death, and she doesn't remember her parents arguing over custody. She does remember her mother's death, but most importantly to investigators, she remembers Erica making that phone call.
Do you have a memory of Erica making a phone call?
Yes.
Tell us about the phone call.
I can remember her, and I remember hearing it but not seeing it. And I know she ordered a pizza. I don't remember what she said that was on it. And I can remember that she did not use her name.
Do you remember what name she did use?
No.
Do you know where you were when you heard this phone call being made?
In the back of a car.
Do you remember what kind of car it was?
No.
Who was with you at that time?
I know Erica was in the passenger seat.
GC said that while she sat in the backseat of the car, Erica placed the pizza order, setting the stage for her mother's murder. And even though Chad pleaded guilty to strangling her mother, she said she visits him twice a month in prison to talk about school and work. At least she did until COVID-19 restrictions made that impossible. On cross-examination, Erica's attorneys were tasked with trying to poke holes in GC's story. They asked about the night that Erica allegedly made the phone call. GC said she heard the call but didn't see it. While being cross-examined, GC reiterated her love for her dad. When asked if there were good and bad times with her father, GC said she only remembers good.
GC, there may be an implication that the reason you're here testifying is to get back at Erica for the bad things that you said she did to you. Is that true or not true?
I want to get it out there.
You want to get what?
Like the truth out.
All right. So Mr. O'Brien asked you if the purpose of you being here was to help your father, and you indicated it was not. It was not to help your dad see your siblings. So why are you here?
Because Erica didn't treat me right, and nobody really knew about it.
A good friend of Chad and Erica's, named Mary Brinkman, testified about some chilling conversations she said she had with Erica about Ashley.
But she had talked about her before. She really kind of expressed her hate for her. She had talked about, and I don't know how anybody could do this, but she talked about how she had gotten into her email and social media accounts, and she could see what Ashley was doing, what she was saying, what she knew, things like that.
Did she talk about, after Ashley was murdered, anything she may have done in regards to Ashley?
She did say that after everything had happened, that she would visit Ashley's grave. And at one point, I know that she had said that she had defecated on her grave.
And why did she say she did this?
Quote unquote, for all the shit she put us through.
At dinner, when she was talking about what happened and going to hide out in the cornfield, what was her demeanor when she was talking about that part?
Just kind of like everyday conversation.
While Mary recounted this in front of the jury, Erica sat at the defense table, intently listening and furrowing her brow as though she was confused. But one of the most confusing moments of this trial came during Chad's cross-examination.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you're asking me, was Ashley in her car when I drove it to our bridge in the field?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Was Ashley already dead?
Yes, sir.
Did you strangle her?
I'm not the one who strangled her, sir.
Would you please repeat that?
I am not the one that strangled her, sir.
I see. So now you pled guilty, and now you're saying that you didn't kill her. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I'm not the one who strangled her aren't the words you'd expect to hear from a confessed killer under oath. There wasn't any follow-up to this confusing bit of testimony, only questions that would go unanswered as the state's case against Erica Stefanko started to head towards the finish line. In her closing arguments, prosecutor Felicia Easter addressed the lack of forensic evidence, but argued the actual murder simply wasn't Erica's part.
In this case, there was no forensic evidence. We did not put forth that, if you notice, of Erica Stefanko at 647 West Turkeyfoot Lake Road. Why? Because it was Chad who did that part. And I'm sure the defense will harp on, well, there's no physical evidence. But common sense and reason tells you why there's no forensic evidence. Because that wasn't her part. But evidence and testimony showed that she did take part from beginning, middle, and end.
Easter then laid out a timeline for the jury.
What evidence and testimony did the state put forth to show that this defendant, Erica Stefanko, is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt? Well, she knew what was going to happen. That was their plan. That was their purpose in going there that night. She drove Chad to the crime scene. She knew why it was going to happen. It was that custody battle. It was retaliation. She made the call to Domino's that lured Ashley Biggs to her death. She followed Chad to the cornfield. She waited at that cornfield for him to dump Ashley's body and the car in the cornfield. She drove Chad home to shower away the evidence. Went back to the initial crime scene with him to clean up the evidence, or to try to clean up the evidence, and hid with Chad at his grandparents' house, the Tallmans, in the back of that detached garage and that's where they actually were caught by the police.
They were caught, she said, and Chad Cobb had already been brought to justice. Now it was Erica's turn. In their closing arguments, defense attorney Carrie O'Brien attacked Chad's testimony.
A witness by the name of Chad Cobb, who testifies from the prison over the video. Once again, Chad, did you and Erica plan to kill Ashley? No. Then we asked Chad some more questions. Does Chad ever really admit to killing Ashley Biggs? He dances around all those questions. He's real happy to tell you about this supposed involvement of Erica, but he's a little bit shy about saying that, yeah, I pled guilty and I killed her. No, he doesn't say that. He admits to pleading guilty to the beating and strangulation, but he never really admits this killing of Ashley. Then he describes in great detail how that during this episode that Erica is there driving the Lincoln, so on and so forth, and that there's a tree there. We never really established where that tree is other than someplace near 647 West Turkeyfoot, if it was there. And we hear that Erica drops him off, and that Erica is standing by the car making a phone call. Yet, what does his daughter, GC, tell us? That, I heard a phone call by Erica while she was sitting in the passenger seat. Well, it would seem that father and daughter don't have their facts straight.
O'Brien also called into question the reliability of GC's testimony, saying she was susceptible to influence at a young age. He also pointed out that Chad called Mike in a panic that night, saying, "I fucked up," not "we fucked up," and asked only for clothes for himself. O'Brien also attacked the recording that Cindy had turned over to police. He pointed out that it was recorded by Erica's former mother-in-law while the two were drinking, and then handed over to police 4 years later. He said that's a lot of strikes against the reliability of Cindy Cobb. During the prosecution's rebuttal, they said that Erica has no one to blame but herself for what is on that secret recording.
Because she still sat there and talked voluntarily for 3 whole hours. 3 hours. And not only that, she repeated herself multiple times, saying the same inculpatory things over and over and over again. Now, we're not going to tell you that there's 3 hours of great stuff in there. There's stuff in there about nothing. There's stuff in there about the kids. There's stuff in there about Chad Cobb being somewhat abusive to her. She alludes to the fact that maybe he did something to her. But at no time in 3 hours, not once, not a one time, does Erica Stefanko say, "I didn't have anything to do with it."
For the final stretch, prosecutors told the jury that the timeline of the secret recording makes sense. They said to think about how Erica fits into this whole case.
Ms. Easter went over very well what complicity is. And I will tell you that Mr. O'Brien had mentioned the fact that why didn't Cindy Cobb turn this in? Because she thought it had no value because she didn't think that Erica was really, telling the truth, or I guess didn't believe her. I think the same reason Ms. Cobb didn't turn it in, and this is the same reason that Erica said the things she said. They didn't understand the law of complicity. They didn't understand that you don't have to be the one going into the bank. You don't have to be the one that actually does the killing. You just have to be the one that helps the one who does the killing. If you are a witness to a crime, you have 3 choices. Only 3. 1, you can do nothing and watch the crime take place. 2, you could do something for good. You could call the police. You could try and step in and help or aid and stop the crime. Or you can help the criminal, right? So when that bank robber goes to the bank and you're somewhere outside and you're sitting in your car and you see him running out with the money and the mask and the gun, you can do nothing and sit there. You can call the police. You could try and chase him down if you wanted to. Or you could have him come and get in your car and take him away. Those are the only 3 choices you kind of have. Do nothing, do good, or do bad. As you think about the evidence in this case, every piece of evidence you think, which category does Erica Stefanko fit in?
The jury deliberated for about 3 days, for a total of 14 hours. They found Erica guilty of 1 count of aggravated murder and 1 count of murder. The jury did not find her guilty of kidnapping or aggravated robbery. Therefore, they couldn't find her guilty of the murder and aggravated murder charges attached to those. In the end, the jury did agree with the state that Erica helped Chad commit murder, even by just making a phone call, making her just as guilty in the eyes of the law. Even though no one accused Erica of physically touching Ashley, she would still face the same sentence as the confessed killer, Chad Cobb. Erica Stefanko has not yet been sentenced, but she faces life in prison with or without parole. And that's all for this episode. As always, I'd love to know what you think about this case. Do you agree with the verdict? Would you have found Erica guilty if you were on the jury? And if you do believe that Erica made that phone call, do you think that should make her as legally responsible as Chad? Let me know by joining the conversation on Instagram at CourtJunkie, by tweeting me at CourtJunkiePod, or by emailing me at podcast@CourtJunkie.com. Today's episode was researched and written by Stephanie Horton from the Law and Crime Trial Network. And lastly, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, where I've been releasing some behind-the-scenes videos along with videos of my Sidebar episodes, which is a monthly podcast I'm recording with a friend of mine, where we discuss Court Junkie cases along with other true crime cases. So be sure to subscribe at youtube.com/CourtJunkie. That's all for me. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.